My mother-in-law and myself were going out to lunch on a Sunday, nice sunny day it was, and just driving down normal road and just noticed a car coming towards us and bash, head-on collision. My ankle was smashed to pieces and hit my face on the steering wheel because it was like an older vehicle. Yeah, that was an experience. He found 27 pieces and wired them together, the surgeon, and my face, it sort of split open from here round that way, where the impact on the steering wheel. Unfortunately, I had a bone infection from the metalwork, so I was going in and out of hospital for a while, letting everything settle down, and I had several surgeries to debride the bone, because when I went there they said, oh, you can have your leg removed or we can try and save it. The bone was so damaged, it was very weak and it just was slowly collapsing more and more. And although they said they'd got rid of the bone infection, it can lay dormant in your bone for 20 years. So if I was an old person and I fell over and fractured, then if there was any dormant infection, it may have flared up and basically it would have killed me. Those were the words I was told. So because I wanted to stay mobile and moving around and do my horses, I decided that I would have to have my leg off. After the accident, I found it hard to come to terms with the fact that I couldn't do a job that I'd done for 25 years. It was a chosen job that I wanted to carry on doing, so that was very difficult. And then with the horses, after the accident, it was so difficult because a lot of places aren't designed with terrain for a one-legged person or for someone in a crow boot to walk around. I did sit on my horse after I had my accident, but I was being led around, around by my husband, and I didn't get to ride him independently again, my horse, because obviously it wasn't very safe. My husband, our relationship for quite a few years became very fragile. You know, because we were together, it was really difficult. You couldn't express problems and I didn't want to talk about the pain because, you know, you don't want to hear that all the time, really. You can't really escape it, but you don't want to talk to someone about it all the time. Even strangers. The strangers, they're adults particularly, they're a bit horrified when their child goes, "Mum, why hasn't that lady got a leg?"
Well, given the severity of the case, it was important to contact the third party's insurers as quickly as possible and invoke the rehabilitation code for more serious injuries. Because under that code, the insurers then cooperate in trying to provide rehab at an early stage. The immediate plan was really to support her while she returned to hospital a number of occasions to try and save the leg. Unfortunately, the infection was so severe, in the end the medics had to say it should come off. And that was a very hard decision for Leysa because she's electing to have the leg removed. It's not a traumatic amputation as sometimes happens in an accident, but this is after a few years of trying to get the leg better. Under the NHS, you are provided with a prosthetic, but with the best will in the world, the service provided by the NHS is not the best, and private provision of prosthetics is much more appropriate. We did try a couple of providers, And we did introduce Leysa to a provider we've used before, which is the London Prosthetic Centre.
The one at Stanmore, you'd have to try and make an appointment. Then when you got there, you were with everyone else and they were trying to alter how your legs stood and things like that. So you'd be like 4 or 5 hours away from home sometimes. And then when I went to Abdo, it was so nice and refreshing to just go into somewhere that was open and you have like a one-to-one with the specialist. If you needed to go back, you just phone them up and you can see them within a very short amount of time. I actually went to a friend's 50th birthday and I had to wear a boot with a plain silicone plain bit here. And it was the first time ever as an adult I can recall feeling so out of place. It wasn't the fact I was wearing a dress and I had to wear one right covered down. It was the fact that when I sat down, you could see it was very out of place.
Like anyone else, when you are in an environment where you are mixing with people and socialising, you don't really want to be showing an exposed leg. So the option of having a cosmesis or a covering on the leg was one which we introduced these to through the London Prosthetic Centre. So when she chooses to, she can have the prosthetic with a cover on it. And indeed, she also opted to have a tattoo on the prosthesis, which is quite impressive. And when you're looking at the leg, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. Well, of course, during the process of the claim, medical support and case management support is usual. But we don't like to leave clients at the end of a case with a large sum of money just to get on by themselves. So we do introduce them to financial advisors and people like the London Prosthetic Centre who will be staying with the client for years to come, because at least we'll be going back to have the leg maintained and replacements over the years. So it's important there's a follow-through. For myself as a litigation person, I may drop into the background. There are others who come forward and take over. And that's part of the continuing, what we would say, after-claim service.